to the good hands people.
Memories. Nothing evokes them like the house they grew up in. The first stairway he climbed, the first railing they peeked through, the first banister she floated down. All part of the reason the Allstate Home Replacement Cost Guarantee exists. To help rebuild your home, whatever the cost, right down to the spot where Dad hung his hat. The Allstate Home Replacement Cost Guarantee. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Last year's Stanley Cup Final Series was the first one to go the distance since 1971. Early on, however, it looked as if it might be a short series as the Edmonton Oilers looked to jump into quick command.
Huddy connects on now to Wayne Gretzky. Watched by Marsh. Gretzky still looking, slots it over to Coffey. Side of the net, they score! Jari Kurri, it's over.
That Stanley Cup moment occurring in Edmonton almost 1 year ago today. Not quite, but almost. It was in May 1987. The Oilers and the Flyers in the Stanley Cup Finals. And last night at the Meadowlands Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Game 4 of the Wales Conference Finals between the Bruins and the New Jersey Devils. Well, that was a Stanley Cup moment that everyone would like to forget, even though we may never be able to forget it. It was tagged with the moniker the Mother's Day Walkout. Why call it a walkout? That's because the officials assigned by the NHL refused to work the hockey game. Why did they refuse? Let's take you back in time now and recount the whole incident, beginning with late Friday night in East Rutherford, New Jersey. What has since been called the Mother's Day walkout by NHL officials at the Meadowlands actually started almost 48 hours earlier, 10:48 p.m., Friday night at Brendan Byrne Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The red-haired man, of course, is New Jersey Devils coach Jim Schoenfeld. He blocks the exit way of referee Don Koharski. He is waiting for Koharski to come off the ice. He initiates a meeting with Koharski. Words are exchanged, and words are continuing to be exchanged down the runway. It got very heated.
I'm standing there, you sniff my fucking gun! Hey, Duke! You going? You fella! You're crazy! You're crazy! You're good because you fell, you fat pig! Have another donut! Have another donut!
That inflammatory situation took place Friday night. Meanwhile, early Sunday afternoon, National Hockey League Executive Vice President Brian O'Neill, in an official announcement, notified the New Jersey Devils that Coach Schoenfeld was being suspended until further investigation of this incident. The New Jersey Devils did not stand for that. They went to a Superior Court judge and got that judge in New Jersey to overturn the league decision. Larry Brooks, Vice President of Communications for the New Jersey Devils, then addressed the press early Sunday evening about a restraining order.
The statement from Lamoriello, the New Jersey Devils cannot tolerate the injustice that has been done to Jim Schoenfeld and our organization. We are owed the right of a hearing and appeal. 2 weeks ago, when Brendan Shanahan became involved in a high-sticking incident with a member of the Washington Capitals, the league conducted a hearing in my office within 36 hours of the altercation. Yet, in this case, with the future of a franchise at stake, as well as the reputation of our coach, Jim Schoenfeld, Brian O'Neill did not convene an official hearing. What's more, to the best of my knowledge, Mr. O'Neill has not yet even looked at the videotape of the post-game incident, despite the fact it was made available to him. I want to know how a decision to suspend could have been reached without Mr. O'Neill having seen the evidence. Lamoriello adds, I am very sorry that we were forced to seek legal action outside of the league's jurisdiction, but we did seek every internal redress possible. We attempted to contact every person in the NHL hierarchy to gain a hearing or an appeal before tonight's game, but were told this was not possible. To protect ourselves, we sought this remedy.
So the New Jersey Devils, armed with a restraining order, told Jim Schoenfeld to go ahead and coach the Devils in Game 4 against the Boston Bruins last night. And that's exactly what he did at 7:43 p.m. The fans were happy, the players were happy, but the officials were not happy. They decided that they would not work the game. And NHL Director of Officiating John McCauley informed both the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins and both coaching staffs that the officials were refusing to work this game. The officials were Dave Newell along with Gord Brosiker and Ray Scapinello. The backup referee was Dennis Burrell. They left the rink in a van and left the game, saying that they would not work. Meanwhile, later on in the evening, as the fans and the players awaited a solution, Larry Brooks of the Devils announced that William Wirtz, who is the chairman of the National Hockey League Board of Governors, ordered that the game between the Bruins and Devils must be played with or without National Hockey League officials. So the only substitution here was to get substitute referees, and the NHL did just that. At 8:40 p.m., league off-ice official Paul McGinnis would act as the referee, and he would take the ice at the Byrne Meadowlands Arena. Behind him, Vin Godleski and Jim Sullivan, who served as the linesmen. So after over an hour's delay at the Meadowlands, the Bruins and Devils would play with substitute officials. At 8:47 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the Boston Bruins took the ice, the New Jersey Devils took the ice, and a crowd of almost 20,000 was about to witness a bizarre moment in National Hockey League history. At 8:51 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at the Meadowlands, the officials and players were on the ice, the anthems were played, and the hockey game began. The game ended in a New Jersey Devil victory over the Boston Bruins, 3-1, that evened the Wales Conference Finals at 2 games apiece. But the controversy was not over, even at midnight Eastern Time.
I then asked Mr. O'Neill what I could do to speak to someone where that we could get an appeal process so that all parties could be heard and all parties could be brought together so that this did not turn out to be something that would be negative for all involved. And being most concerned with the reputation of our coach at hand, because there were some allegations set against him officially, where that once again proved to be false. I asked if I could speak with Mr. Ziegler, and I tried to reach him. From 12:30 till 4 o'clock, also tried to reach any other officials within the league. I called everyone possible to tell them of what my concerns were, and that at no time did I want to take any further action, provided they could give a proper hearing and they could give Jim his due as far as this situation goes. At 4 o'clock, I felt as though that I would be getting nowhere. I also called the legal counsel of the league, and I also spoke to Mr. Wirtz, the chairman of the National Hockey League. So we tried every process we possibly could. At that time, I felt as though I had no recourse other than, in the best interest of the New Jersey Devils and its organization, at this given time in a game to me that was most important for the future of the franchise, but also most important for our coach's integrity, to seek an injunction that would allow Jim to coach this evening.
A chronological recap of the bizarre events that started late Friday night in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and didn't end until after midnight this morning, Eastern Daylight Time. Now, what do we know as a result of everything that happened over the weekend? We know the Bruins and Devils will play tomorrow night on ESPN, Game 5 of the Wales Conference Finals. We know that regulation, National Hockey League officials and linesmen will be in attendance and will be working the game, as well as all the rest of the games during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Will Jim Schoenfeld be behind the bench? That we don't know for sure from the New Jersey Devils. That's because the NHL has convened an official meeting tomorrow, an official hearing, I should say, tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time in Boston, where all the principals involved in this whole incident will get together face-to-face and have a complete airing out. We don't know if an official league ruling will come down right after that meeting or right before the game or after the game. We'll just have to wait and see. So tune in tomorrow night at 7:30. We'll update you on our Road to the Cup telecast. Tonight, the Campbell Conference Finals going on without incident. Detroit and Edmonton are tied at 1 after 1.
How would you like to win an all-new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme SL? or $1,000 cash. Play the exciting Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme game. First, come into Jerome Oldsmobile for a game brochure or pick one up at a participating McDonald's restaurant. Second, ask Jerome's for a game piece. Third, open it up and see what you get. Test drive a Cutlass Supreme and Jerome's will give you $5 in McDonald's gift certificates. Visit Jerome Oldsmobile Cadillac, New Kensington.
Lifetime. We help you do the things you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the National Hockey League, Mr. John A. Ziegler, Jr.
The National Hockey League, along with other professional sports organizations, supports the President's Sports Drug Education Program. The goal of this program is simple. It is to keep our young people free from drugs. I'd like you to listen to a lady who really cares. She's given a great deal of her time to this program, Nancy Reagan.
Thank you, John. You're right. I do care. And I'm greatly concerned about the epidemic use of drugs by school-age children. Sports figures, especially hockey players who are so respected by our young people, can help lead the way in our fight to defeat drug abuse. I'm so pleased that NHL players like Wayne Gretzky, Mike Bossy, and Rod Langway have joined this effort. Together, we'll make a great team, and together, we'll win this fight.
Welcome back to our Road to the Cup studios, everyone. I'm Tom Mees. Time in our first intermission, as we always do, to take a look at the Bud Light scoreboard. And guess what? The officials are on the ice, the official officials tonight, for game number 4 of the Campbell Conference Finals, and so are the Oilers and the Detroit Red Wings. But the big news was at the beginning, yes, that Kerry Frazier and his men were on the ice, and they were laying down the law early to the Oilers and Detroit Red Wings. We'll pick it up with no score. Mark Messier comes barreling down the slot towards Glenn Hanlon in the Red Wing goal. Battles to the net. Craig Simpson will be behind the play. Now, Messier is taken down by Lee Norwood. A penalty was going to be called anyway. Craig Simpson says, thank you very much for the loose puck, and he puts it in 1-0 Edmonton. But under a minute to go in the period, Detroit on the power play. Jeff Sharples, number 34, with the shot. Puck is stopped in front. And there's another loose puck, and Adam Oates puts it in over a crowd in front of Edmonton goaltender Grant Fuhr. So it's Edmonton 1, Detroit 1, as we get set for the second period on the road to the Cup.
And in the goal for the United States, Bud Light Zone's Spuds McKenzie.
His name is Spuds McKenzie. Changing goal for the USA. Stopping pucks both left and right. You know the dude can flat out play.
When the pucks stop flying, there's no denying Spud celebrates with Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
This Bud Light is out of sight, my little Spudsky.
Gillette has changed the face of shaving. First, we made it closer. Then we made it smoother. Atra Plus. Its Lubra Smooth Strip actually releases lubricants to glide the razor more smoothly. Incredible smoothness from the first stroke to the last. The Atra Plus system. First we made it closer, then we made it smoother.
9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Great taste, Coca-Cola, cool, and the fries hot. Good time. Real good food every time. Next time. Take a little break of the best kind. Good time, great taste. Great taste. Oh yeah, this is my way. Good time, great taste. A Big Mac, French fries, quarter pounder cheese. Salad, McNuggets, McDLT. The good time, great taste of McDonald's.
This is Mrs. Quinn. Sorry to call at this hour, but I think a pipe broke in my basement. I just don't know.
That's right. There's no hot water anywhere in the building. It's been
I hate to call on a Sunday, but my pump got all clogged up.
For all the times you've called and they've come, Delta Faucet salutes the professional plumber. He still makes house calls.
This is Mrs. Quinn again. In all the confusion this morning, there was something I forgot to tell you. Thanks.
The Road to the Cup on ESPN, coming to you tonight from Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, is brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a thorough test drive, simply phone your nearest BMW dealer. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars.
Here again at Joe Louis Arena, 1 goal apiece in the first period. Simpson from Messier and Tikkanen at 15:22. Oates on the power play from Sharples and Anderson. Or check that, Ashton and Sharples at 19:21. I'm sorry, I just drew a blank there because we were misinformed. It was not Tikkanen who had the first assist, but Glenn Anderson. So that's squared away. 8-5 the shots. Detroit with the advantage. We're underway in the second period. Another item that we did not have for you earlier, but we do now. You notice that Acton had left the ice, and Zombo had as well. They had minor penalties with misconduct. As on comes Gretzky. Had to go deep, chased by Hanlon. Centers, they score! Jari Kurri, decked after he pushed that one in, is slow to get up, and Wayne Gretzky over to protest immediately to the referee, Kerry Frazier, but the Oilers have broken the tie.
Man, was he ever decked with a cross-check, a brutal cross-check from behind after an outstanding play by Gretzky. You know, he is never, ever out of the play. There's Jari Kurri. He's trying to get his win. He took it right across the small of the back. And that's the area that most players don't have protected. Some players now have gone to protection there. But watch O'Connell lose the puck to Gretzky here, who goes all the way in. Now watch Gretzky go far enough by. He knows he can't score from there. Hanlon made an outstanding play to force him wide, but somebody has to cover for him now. And you can see that Gretzky mesmerized a couple of people. There's Probert, who let him have it from behind. Gerard Gallant, 17, was the man kneeling down on the side of the net that just tried to block the pass. And Gretzky once again mesmerized everybody. He draws their eyes to him so that people like Jari Kurri can sneak in behind them. That's how they scored. Boy, he took an awful lick from Probert. You know, it's not only the small of the back. You risk the whiplash situation, too, if you get hit like that from behind. Your neck snaps and your head falls back.
Remember Craig Simpson in the third game being cross-checked into the goal?
Yeah,
we're going to see this again.
Well, look at Hanlon. He forces Gretzky wide. Hanlon did a great job there. And you can see Gerard Gallant. He doesn't know quite what to do. Should he stay there, try and block the pass? One more look at it. Look at Hanlon with the poke check way out there, too, forcing him wide. Gee, Harold Snepps was really slowed there by O'Connell, who was diving through trying to stop the play. And that's one of the reasons that Snepps was a little late trying to get him. Sather is upset because he obviously wants a penalty after the fact to Bobby Probert.
Well, you can sure see his argument. Kerry Frazier explaining to him why one wasn't called. Kurri, his 11th of the playoffs, 3rd of this series. Gretzky, the lone assist at 23 seconds. That's the official on that one.
How long do you think it would take if you were a winger playing with Gretzky to figure out any time he breaks for the net to get there as quickly as you can?
Well, you know, over the years, he's had a lot of wingers who have done well with him, some of whom haven't done that well elsewhere. I mean, Dave Semenko was a pretty good scorer when he was on Gretzky's line. A guy by the name of Brett Callaghan back in the WHA.
Blair McDonald. I don't think there is anybody that has played with Wayne Gretzky that has done better at any other time playing with anybody else.
Darren Veach, right to Gretzky. Gretzky able to step away from Gallant. Nice little shovel to Tikkanen. Wanted to get it through to McClellan, but couldn't. Ahead with this comes Probert. Right after him was Tikkanen, and we get a stoppage of play on an offside. And there may be more here. Everyone gathers near Probert, who's shoving with Tikkanen. Now, of course, Kurri was injured, and that's why there was a change on that line. But McClellan is a tough guy to have out. And Probert was staying, so McClellan was the one who came out for the resulting face-off. And it could be Tikkanen and perhaps also Probert. They're both headed to the box.
Boy, out of the play, just when Gretzky passed to that 2-on-1 situation, Lee Norwood leveled Gretzky. But here is Tikkanen taking out Bob Probert, and that's what precipitates this whole thing. Tikkanen and Probert have been going at it pretty strong the whole time. There's Tikkanen back into the frame there. But Probert has been told 10 times a game. Jacques Demers said he had told Bobby Probert, and you know, that doesn't mean that Bobby Probert needed to be told 10 times a game. That's just how often Jacques Demers reminded him to stay cool, that they needed him on the ice more than they needed him in the penalty box.
No shortage in manpower as a result of this. 41 seconds into the second period. McTavish to take the draw with Adam Oates.
Detroit by number 24, Bob Probert. Each 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Probert's minor, we've just overheard, was for unsportsmanlike conduct. Tikkanen perhaps the same, but meanwhile, the puck taken by Oates, swung on back to Sharples, tries to connect ahead with Barr, but stepping in with it is Ashton, just ridden right away by Courtnall. Gregg bumps one along. It skips on back for an attempt by Sharples that is foisted further by Barr. To take this one is Gregg. Angled it off for McTavish. Lost go to Oates. His pass tipped away by McTavish, and he plays catch with Courtnall, and they've got a bona fide 3-on-2. Up the wing with it for the drive was Lacombe, and it sailed over the glove of Hanlon. Back on it comes to Smith. Swings one that is directed wide by Courtnall. Drilled back around, and it comes to Ashton. Brent Ashton ahead. This is 3-on-3. Barr ran some interference, nearly got tangled with Oates. Play breaks down, but Oates able to recover. Tried for Barr, but it was tipped away by Steve Smith. And it's in someone's equipment. Whose?
Dave Barr.
Little conversation after the whistle. Something that we've noticed a good deal from recently in the games between Detroit and Edmonton. And it may be the box for Norwood and perhaps one of the Oilers too. Courtnall wants to know why as you see Dave Barr.
Boy, Barr sure comes alive in the playoffs. He did last year as well, playing with Oates and Ashton. And when Demers put them back in this series, they produced immediately. Barr got one in game 3 here 2 nights ago. Watch Barr, 22 in white. Watch the puck come down here. Oh, nice catch. Perfect. That came down right out of midair. Didn't even deflect off his arm. Right down into his glove.
Probert and Tikkanen both had unsportsmanlike conduct penalties at the 41-second mark. And now a minute and 5 seconds later, we have what appears to be, again, a set of offsetting minor penalties. Talked about the hitting in the game, Bill. The Detroit hits in game 1 totaled 23. In game 2, 64. And in the last game, 67. Don't know if it was tentativeness, perhaps just a little bit of fear at the start. Not wanting to take a chance with the hit that might put them out of the play. Norwood and Courtnall both get unsportsmanlike conducts this time. And from the face-off, it is Harold Snepp. Shifted back to defense now. Over to Veach. And Veach bounces. Joe Murphy moves in. Murphy tried to center, and Grant Fuhr just snapped it up and holds on. 18:03 to go in the second period. Edmonton leading Detroit 2-1.
I got no kick from champagne. Here alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true? I get a kick out of
The BMW 7 Series. It brings new blood to a class of automobile that can certainly benefit from it.
Two to 1 the score. Early goings. Second period from Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Tomorrow night, Boston Garden, Sam Rosen, Phil Esposito will have all of the action between the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins. That series even at 2. If Detroit wins this one tonight, this one will be even at 2 as well. But the Red Wings are trailing right now. Puck banked along. Beach trying to turn it. It went by low. Shabbat crunches there with Muni and wipes out, and the puck winds up underneath the pile. And Yari Curry is back out for Edmonton.
Bit of a sigh of relief, you know, there from all of the Oilers. people involved. What a loss he would be. You know, the injury factor has never been a problem for the Edmonton Oilers, and nobody really knows why. Some teams speculated it's because they had a massage therapist. They tried it. The Flyers tried it. It didn't seem to work. The Devils now have a massage therapist. My theory, at least for a half a dozen players on their team, is they are so good and see the ice so well that they are able to avoid the big hit, the Gretzkys, Messiers, Andersons. But even then, they're going to get hit now and again. I just think it has a lot to do with being fortunate. Sooner or later, I don't know how they can avoid getting hurt, but they have been so lucky.
Here is Sneps with a shot. That just eaten up by Fuhr and turned back over for Craig Muni. Muni's pass tipped off the stick of Krushelnyski, and back to get it is Harold Sneps. Sneps wound it back around. It is outletted by Shabbat over to Murphy, and he's just hammered by the check of Lowe. And there'll be a penalty coming up now. And it's not to the Oilers. It must be a retaliation away from the puck. Turning with this is Gretzky. Fell, and then off of a Red Wing it went, and so now we'll get the call. So the Oilers are ahead in the game. Red Wings take a penalty. Oilers to get the power play when we come back.
Budweiser and Bud Light join with USA Today to give baseball fans something new. Now, for the first time, you can also pick up an official All-Star fan ballot free wherever you pick up Bud or Bud Light. Vote for your favorite Major League players. Then, test your baseball trivia and win valuable prizes.
Answers are in USA Today every day.
So fans, settle back with a cold Bud or Bud Light. Vote for your favorite All-Stars and be part of a baseball tradition.
The road to the Cup continuing nightly on ESPN. We hope you're enjoying our coverage through the months of April and May of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Joe Murphy has been sent off for a slash at 2:36, and so Detroit to be shorthanded a man again. Jari Kurri tosses over to Smith. Now, Glenn Anderson is out for this power play. He is the extra forward to work the back line, or perhaps it will be Kurri, as that one, fortunately for the Oilers, came to him off Shabbat. Now it's worked along to Messier, has Anderson nearby to pass to, but that one directed back to the opposite side, and Smith crunched by Barr. DeLorme able to ladle it back down. We've played 23 minutes of this game, and the shots are 8 for Detroit and 6 for Edmonton. Pass made over to Messier. Picks up Glenn Anderson. Anderson moving in. DeLorme able to chop it along. As it popped off him, came right back along for Kurri. Lobbed one that Shabbat ties up with Messier. Still they jam away, and Anderson, the extra man, couldn't prevail as the Red Wings clear.
What a good play by John Shabbat. He had one guy to contend with. That was Messier, and then he had another one that came along. That was Anderson. He still outmuscled them both. That's the kind of determination that is a signal of a Jacques Demers team. His players play hard for him all the time. John Shabbat has been a star for the Red Wings in this year's playoffs all the way from the beginning. What a great indication of why. He just won't be denied out there.
Great steal by Yzerman a moment ago, and a good rush by Ashton, but back now come the Oilers. Wayne Gretzky takes a look. Feeds one to the slot. Anderson with a goal! Big setup by Gretzky and a drive by Anderson, and it is 3-1 Edmonton. Whew.
Well, these are the kind of plays that you can try and defend against all you want. You just have to hope that it hits something. This shot. Watch Gretzky. Takes the pass from Kurri, and he threads it back to a streaking Anderson who's coming right through the top of the box, right there. And he rifled it. You could see where it went. Glenn Hanlon had a good extension, but he just missed it. There was hardly any room. That was a bang-bang play. You can't blame the Red Wings. They defended as hard as they could. That was just one of those Oilers plays. We talked about the skill players. Sooner or later, they're going to break through. That was a great look at it. Gretzky to Anderson, who just jammed it with hardly any room between Hanlon's skate and the post right in the far side.
One of the big snipers and one of the finest players in the world, and it has taken until Game 4 for Anderson to get his first goal in this series. His 6th overall in the playoffs from Gretzky and Kurri at 4:03, and it's on the power play.
Keep in mind now, the Red Wings have fallen behind by 2. Jacques Demers said when this series started that he felt the Red Wings had to hold the Oilers to 3 goals in every game. If they could hold them to 3 goals, then they would have a chance to win. We got 15 minutes to go in the second period, and the Oilers have 3 right now.
There was one that caromed just away from Barr, worked back out by Courtnall. Moving in with it is Lacombe drops it on back for a throw to the front of the net by Weimer, and it has to be held by Glenn Hanlon.
Here's a look at Glenn Hanlon. We're going to ISO on him when this goal was scored. Everything's in control. You see how far out of his net he is, cutting down the angle. At this point, Gretzky has the puck. There goes the pass back to Anderson. Bingo. Hardly had a chance to move on it at all. Of course, Mike O'Connell seemed to be in front of him, but when the shot comes that quickly, you don't even have a chance as a defenseman or a forward to vacate the screen. You are stuck when the shot comes that fast.
Greg Steffen, who was injured in Game 2, is the goaltender who is the backup tonight, and he indicated that he will be ready to play should it be necessary, of course tonight, but in a starting role if it's asked of him for Game 5. On with this now comes McTavish, checked by Delorme, puck taken by Courtnall, right in the shadow of the referee Kerry Fraser, trying to step away. Loose one came back over, and Barr starts up with it. Teams are at even strength, 15:05 to go in the second period. Score of the game, 3-1 in favor of Edmonton. Playing this is Sharples. Along for Barr. Stepped into by Weimer, and back to take it is McTavish. McTavish leaned on by Oates. They cancel one another, and so Weimer just deals it back off to Jeff Courtnall. Courtnall's pass is tipped ahead by Oates, gathered by Gallant. Fresh from the bench, Bob Probert couldn't shuffle it ahead. And the Oilers play. It is McSorley winding one down that hits a stray glove. There'll be no icing here as play will continue, and it is O'Connell to get it. O'Connell's pass ricochets to Lowe. Lowe just banks one off that comes to Messier. Starts in the wall, wedged off by O'Connell. The pass taken by Probert. Right now a 3-on-2 Detroit. Bob Probert starting in. Gets it over to Yzerman. Has some trouble controlling, but still able to pivot. Yzerman shoveled it, but taken by Messier. Messier has a 3-on-2 back the other way. Crosses near Beach. Feeds on the wing, and the one-time attempt by Anderson fails. It is Beach dumping it back along to Yzerman. Yzerman looks ahead. Has a man moving, it's Gallant. It ricocheted right ahead to Gallant, but then the puck is cut off by Simpson and worked back out to Messier. He and Yari Curry move along. Messier to Curry in a long save made on the play by Hanlon. Did it go through and ricochet back out?
I don't think so. Curry looked like he was trying to go through Hanlon's legs to pull it to his forehand and open him up. Hanlon squeezed off the 5-pole, and then Curry had no room.
Back to get it is Curry, and he's in the sights of Harold Smith. Muni rammed by Bridgman. And so the cocoon line is out for Detroit, stirring things up. Beach with a pass for Neal. Chopped away by Curry. Tried for Gretzky, but he's forced off the play by Smith. Turning with this is Tikkanen. Puck lost in the stray glove. Jammed though to Gretzky. Tries to work it in front, and it's knocked away. Good work on defense that time by Nil, who dropped back. Drive deflected on goal, and that's saved by Hanlon, and he'll hang on. 13:04 to go in the second period. Oilers flexing some muscle. They're up by 2.
Like a lot of business people, I thought all insurance companies were the same. Believe me, there's a world of difference out there. I know, because thanks to the Hartford, we survived the kind of fire that would have wiped out most companies. But with the Hartford's people behind my business, we met payroll. We got back on our feet. So please, don't tell me all insurance companies are the same. They're not.
When you need us most, we're at our best. The Hartford.
Here at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Just under 20,000 fans and just over 940,000 for the year. No team has ever hit 1 million. For that matter, no team had ever hit 900,000 until the Red Wings did it. That's for regular season and playoffs. But they're pretty quiet right now. Their team down by 2, and Wayne Gretzky wins the forehand faceoff and then turns it right on goal, and Hanlon had to make a stop. Along now to Delorme. Turn to Nil, but that given up to Smith. Smith plops one that Delorme kicks away to Bridgman. Mel Bridgman, one-time flyer, Calgary Flame, and New Jersey Devil. Pivoted, tried to get a play developed ahead that broke down. On with this comes Delorme. Taps into the Randy Gregg corner. Gregg with a weak toss. Bridgman over for Sneps. They collide, but it is Yari Curry now for Edmonton. With a pass up the wing to the Oilers captain, Wayne Gretzky. Has Curry on the wing, but that play denied by Sharples. 12 and a half to go in the second. As back to get it is Steve Smith. Smith's pass came right to Bridgman. Feeds one to the front, but Smith able to cut that one away. And then diving to turn it back deeper is Esa Tikkanen. Shift change on now for the Oilers as back ahead with it comes Murphy. Murphy gives to Shabbat. Pass kicked back to Zombo, who held. Gives it to Shabbat. Feeds one in front. One-time attempt by Murphy failed. Bumped back to Norwood. Fires one. That one blocked by the sprawling defenseman Steve Smith. And we get a stoppage of play. Check that. It is Weimer who dove in front of that shot. He's the one that traps it for the faceoff.
I don't think anybody knew how Jim Weimer would react. He hasn't played. Well, it's been almost a month. He played in the playoffs in Nova Scotia in the American League until they got knocked out. There's a look at the chance on Grant Fuhr. Watch Weimer move out here to block this shot. That's a pretty gutsy block. The further you are away from the shooter, the more dangerous it is. You really can't line your body up other than knowing that it's coming in your direction. But Jim Weimer is not a gifted skater. He makes up for it with great hands. He will be the second, and has been the second left defenseman on the Oilers power play tonight. He's a big guy. He's capable of using his body when he feels like it. He's not really known for throwing his body weight around, but solid player. The Oilers have a lot of confidence that he's going to do a good job tonight. Jeff Bukaboom is out of the lineup, and Weimer is in. Charlie Huddy is out with an injury, and Marty McSorley is back in. He has finished his suspension.
Krushelnyski checked by Shabbat. Puck fed on back. McSorley banked one off a skate, and that caused it to go away from Krushelnyski. The Red Wings, 8.5 minutes into this period, are still looking for their first shot. The Oilers have had 5. 2 of them have gone in. 3-1 Edmonton with 11:20 to play here in the second period. Kevin Lowe goes back to take it. Matched up with Muni on defense. The forechecker is Shabbat. Lowe just waiting as the Red Wings have made a change in shifts themselves. They have Shabbat working with Barr and Ashton. In back it is O'Connell and Zombo, and they're ready to meet this rush as on comes Glenn Anderson. Play goes offside. Puck must precede members of the attacking team across the blue line or it is stopped. That's the case here with 11 minutes to go in the second. 3-1 the Oilers.
The BMW 7 Series. It brings new blood to a class of automobile that can certainly benefit from it.
.7:30 Eastern, Devils and the Bruins. We are assured for the rest of the playoffs that there will be regular NHL officials. So there is no question mark hovering over that. Any other questions will probably be answered at a hearing tomorrow afternoon at 2 Eastern time in Boston. And of course, our ESPN crew will bring you up to date on all of the happenings there. In now comes Messier. Feeds one to the slot. Muni, a shot went wide. There'll be a penalty coming up, and it will be to the Edmonton Oilers, but there could be more handed out as a result of this breakage. I think Detroit will back off, as you notice here, because they want to get that power play. They're midway in the period and still looking for their first shot on goal.
Well, they've sure been able to attack the blue line with a little more speed. They are moving Detroit out of the neutral zone, getting the jump on them. And you know how they got the jump here? It's exactly what the Oilers have been trying to do all night and really haven't been that successful at it. There's a shot by Muni. It's the counterattack. By the counterattack, we're talking about breaking up the play, and as soon as you break up the play with a defensive play, turning it around and having your forwards break up ice in an offensive posture. And that's something that John Muckler has been really disappointed in his Oilers team in Game 3 here. And he said tonight, the only way to loosen up the Detroit Red Wings are to catch them on the counterattack. When we break up a play by forcing a turnover and head up ice, we have to do it so fast that we catch the Red Wings wingers and leave them behind, because the Red Wings wingers are such a big part of their game, coming back deep into the zone and picking the puck up in the corners.
Boy, am I ever impressed that you could say Red Wings wingers that fast.
I didn't. I think I flubbed it.
Sound not bad to me. Anderson interference, 9:21 of the second period. All right. Important point in this game. Red Wings have not gotten much going. They tried for a centering pass for Yzerman. That denied. Still fighting for it. Getting it back to Lant. Sharples with a shot. Ricocheted wide. Tapped away by Fuhrer. And gathered in by Steve Smith. Headmans to Gretzky. Along now to Curry. Feeds on the wing to Smith. Big drive. Stick save made by Hanlon. Smith still controls. Feeds to Gretzky. Gretzky pivoting away. Fans now becoming restive. They want to see something go the other way, and Bob Probert is doing that right now. Probert brings it on. Trying to shake through traffic, gets it back for Sharples, wraps it along to Yzerman. Yzerman watched by Randy Gregg. Followed by Gregg, converging his Curry, puck back to Sharples, feeds over to Gallant in front, Probert.
Crucial goal at a big time in a hockey game for the Red Wings. Bobby Probert all the way across the blue line. Now he will sooner or later find his way to the front of the net. And we have talked about the Oiler defenseman leaving him standing alone in front. There is Steve Smith beside him. Watch what happens. The puck moves over to Gallant because 3 Oilers have gone out high to attack the 2-point man. That left Smith. He's got a decision to make here. Look, where's the other defenseman? Randy Gregg has gone out too high. An outstanding move by Gerard Gallant to move the puck back to get it by Smith's stick. And that was just a jammer from in front by Big Bob Probert. 3-2 now.
Not quiet here anymore. Norwood banks it right back along to Barr. Has Ashton up the wing, hands to Adam Oates. Oates feeds right back over to Barr. Barr centers one. Oates wrapped up by Muni. Loose puck in front. There'll be a penalty coming up to the Oilers. I don't know if you can hear us over the crowd. 9:06 to go in the second. 3-2 Edmonton.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Fred Muni is off for holding, and with that call, the crowd is back in this game 100%. Barr tries to go around Kevin Lowe, and at the front of the net, you can see Adam Oates working away for the puck, but Fred Muni just has him hog-tied. Frank Ashton moves in to try and get a shot in. Listen to this crowd. They were so quiet for so long when the Oilers were leading 3-1. They're in it now.
Oates on the draw with Messier. The puck comes along to Smith. Wrapped for Krushelnyski. Bumps with Sharples. Sharples fights it back wide. Fuhrer able to flick it back along. It's sailed by Ashton and is brushed back further by Krushelnyski. And with this, Krushelnyski will come off. Replaced by McTavish. He stays out with Messier up front. Mike O'Connell for the Red Wings, who have 25 seconds gone on their power play. On with it comes Oates. Drops it back to Shabbat. Wraps it around the boards, and to take it is Ashton. Oates let it go so that it can be handled by Shabbat. Feeds one in front that is blocked away. Good aggressive play on defense by Kevin Lowe. Shabbat dumps it back for Oates. The point man at the back wants it. That's on the left side, Sharples. But instead it's worked the right to Shabbat. Back for Oates, but it trickled by him. Swung back to Oates. Looks to the front. Ashton is there. It's over for Shabbat. The shot knocked down. McTavish able to feed it back on for Mark Messier. Starts out now, and they have a 3-on-2. McTavish starts back in, has Messier breaking, gives it to him around in front. Marvelous save made by Hanlon, but a beautiful setup by the Oilers, short-handed.
What timing Hanlon used. When he went down at the perfect time. Messier just had nothing to shoot at.
40 seconds left on the power play. Puck dumped behind, but Kevin Lowe there to read. Trying to get away from the checking of Oates. It spun just through Gretzky and back down. There'll be no icing here because the Oilers are shorthanded in comparison to the manpower of Detroit. 3-2 Edmonton, 7.5 to go in the second period. We hope you're enjoying this one tonight from Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Bob Probert, who brought the team back to within one, tries to work one along that can't be handled by Yzerman. Lee Norwood steps ahead. Norwood creeping, has the land on the wing. It is chopped back along by O'Connell. Turns to Probert. Tried to feed, but Lowe was in the way. Yzerman has a penalty box empty. Norwood a shot. What a save! Made by Fuhr. Out of the box comes Muni and was available for the pass, but it is iced by Edmonton, and that'll stop the clock with 6:57 to go in the second. Still the Oilers by one, thanks to him.
I got no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true? I get a kick out of pain.
The BMW 7 Series. It brings new blood to a class of automobile that can certainly benefit from it.
Well, the Gladiators in goal just exchanged outstanding saves. Here's the one by Messier, or at least by Hanlon on Messier. You saw that when Messier was cutting in, he didn't have anywhere to go. And what a toe save by Grant Fuhr at the other end off of Lee Norwood's shot.
Dr. Murr said at the very outset that this is no great pearl of wisdom, but it'll come down to the men in the pipes. He said that's simplistic, and a lot of guys say it, but boy, does it ever meant a lot in this series as it's developed. Bob Probert swung and missed. Back up come the Oilers.
You know, Mike, you just have to look at who's left in the playoffs and look at the goaltending that they've had.
All right, Krushelnyski forced off by Veach. Players swirling along at the front after having gone down. Puck kicked along toward Weimer, but it's gathered in by Yzerman and tossed back down, and then Yzerman was hit by Kevin McClellan. Red Wings have just lost their power play. 42 seconds of attack time, 2 shots. On now is Acton, and his shot directed wide by Beach. Krushelnyski comes along. Banked from him, though, by Bob Probert, and back ahead with it. Now come the Red Wings and Steve Yzerman. Yzerman trying to get through Weimer. Closing it off from the other side. McSorley and the loose puck off Gallant. Brought right back up by Krushelnyski. Looks ahead. The pass, though, flew by Lacombe and was knocked down by the high stick of the Red Wings. For that reason, play is stopped as they were the team to control. 6:01 to go in the second. Simpson, Curry, and Anderson have the goals for the Oilers. Oates and Bob Probert for Detroit.
Well, if you wanted to designate a key guy for the Red Wings so far in the playoffs, you'd have to say that Bob Probert has been as big as anyone. Here he is moving in, trying to move in front. Wow, was that Acton that tried to take him out? It sure was. Keith Acton just cross-bodied him, but bounced right off him. That tells you how solid Probert is. He's listed at 210 pounds, 6'3", 210. I can honestly say I've never seen anybody move as quickly as they do when Bob Probert hits them. The most innocent little hits, and he follows through with his arms, almost like he's trying to block his way through the hit, and he hits right through the person he's running into, and they always go sailing. 5, 6 feet directly backwards when he makes contact.
Close up, you saw Kerry Fraser, referee in tonight's game. Only one helmeted official tonight. Kevin Collins from Springfield, Massachusetts, goes without the helmet. Leon Stickle, the veteran from Mount Forest, Ontario, wears it. Loose puck comes right out in front. Hooked away, but there'll be a penalty coming up to Detroit, and Tim Higgins says, "Come on, not me." But it'll be a power play for the Oilers with 5:55 to go in the second period.
Well, it had to be one of them, either Higgins or O'Connell, and Higgins is right. It wasn't him. It's that man, Mike O'Connell. But they both end up standing right over Norm Lacombe right here. There's O'Connell. Sure, he's tripping up Lacombe. Now look at this situation. They both can't plead innocent on that one. So O'Connell goes off. 5:55 to go in the second. Will hold. Kind of a tough play, too, and a tough call. It has to bother a coaching staff anytime the play is actually moving away from the danger area. That play was moving away from Hanlon, not towards him. So anytime you take a penalty in that instance, pretty tough to handle. There's a look at the power play situation for tonight. Boy, Detroit has really got theirs going. 2 for 4, 1 for 3. Both of these teams were killing penalties so well when this series started, but the power plays have taken over now, and both of them, when they set up, and they both had trouble setting up, have had so much movement. We've spoken all year long about one of two things having to move, the puck or the people. For both of these teams, when they get set up, are moving people and pucks. And you're seeing results. They're really scoring on the power play now.
Mark Messier is out for that, along with Glenn Anderson and Gretzky. Gretzky advances to Messier, watched by Delorme. Messier feeds it back across. It is controlled by Curry to Smith. Flips one for Messier that skids along toward Anderson. He allows it to go and then takes the hit from Norwood. Golfed along by Delorme, and moving on with this will be Barr. They'll play it conservatively, just dumping in. One man goes in deep. That's Shabbat. Shabbat canceled with Smith, and Yari Curry is there. Oilers have been upset at how long Mark Messier has been staying out on the ice. They want him to shorten his shifts. We'll see how long he goes in this one. He started the power play. 50 seconds have already gone off on it. Skating exhibition by Steve Yzerman. Yzerman alongside with Delorme. Still skating with it. Almost stepped through Curry, but the play was offside going in.
Well, we've talked about the power plays. Here's what the Oilers have done. This is updated. They're 1 for 3. They've only spent 1 minute and 28 seconds out of over 5 minutes, just about 5.5 in the attack zone. So that tells you the trouble they have had penetrating the zone and setting up. 2 shots. That is hardly characteristic of the Oilers' powerhouses. 1 quality shot. And one of those shots came from the point. So you can see where they're having problems. It is coming up the ice, penetrating the zone, and then setting up. But give Detroit a lot of credit, not only for holding them out of the zone, they have forced a lot of quick turnovers, even when the Oilers have come into the zone and tried to set up. Those of you that were with us for Game 1 in Edmonton, we were sitting up here saying, or in Edmonton, saying, why are the Red Wings not forcing the Oilers on the power play? Detroit's penalty killing was very passive, and they got picked apart. Well, they've changed it and gotten slowly but surely more aggressive, and it's worked.
Harold snaps flips. That one gloved down by Weimer, and Weimer just shoves it back to low. 48 seconds to go on the power play, and right now the Oilers are using 2 defensemen as the point men rather than a defenseman and a forward. And Messier is off. Gretzky is there. Give away by Lowe over to Ashton. Fires, and a save made by Grant Fuhr. We may look back on that one as important. Ahead with this now comes Tikkanen. Big blast off a stick. Sails by Hanlon. Around to get it is Zombo. Flipped it right into Craig Simpson. Simpson forehands one in front, directed away by Sneps. Pinching to keep play active is Weimer. Behind the net, no, it's Sneps taking it away from Simpson, and the puck has to be brought back to center ice because Weimer couldn't hold.
Good play by Harold Sneps. You know, he's still got some leg in him. Jacques Demers has played him all over the place tonight. Up front, at the back, there he is again breaking up the play. He's played outstanding hockey.
Shabbat spins a man down. That was Simpson as Sneps tipped it further. Penalty time is over. And it is Weimer advancing it along. Simpson went in early. Offside is called. 3:41 to go in the second period. Penalty box empty. 3-2 Edmonton.
Before you take a single picture, before you press the shutter, before you autofocus, before you operate the fully motorized extended range zoom lens, before you place it next to your eye, before you even touch it, you're going to want to own it. The incredible 35mm Infinity Super Zoom 300. New from Olympus.
Well, there's a look at Kevin Lowe's profile. The man that's playing hurt. He still has a cast on his left hand and many other injuries that I thought possibly would have had a chance to heal. I asked him this morning if they were slowly but surely going away. He said, no, there's been too much contact in this series, so he's still on the limp.
We have played almost 37 minutes, and the shots are 12-12. Detroit likes to keep the game slow, likes to keep the shot total down, and of course the quality shot total as low as possible. Done it pretty well. Shabbat for the face-off with Mike Krushelnyski. Sharples along. Given a good hit by Randy Gregg was Murphy. Booming check leveled by McClellan across the way. And they go back at it again. Meanwhile, the puck sent in and Delorme went back, but there'll be coincidental penalties coming up.
Boy, there was the hit, the first one by Randy Gregg. Watch the bottom of your screen, 20, Tim Higgins. Kevin McClellan lifts him right into midair and jams him against the boards. It's a helpless feeling when you find yourself going up in the air. All you know you're going to do is land, and that's what Tim Higgins did right into the boards.
Higgins having words with Messier just
right,
now.
Right. Very often a big brawl will start right in front of the bench because guys are yapping on the bench, and it really heats up when you got so many people yelling at you. So the officials always try and steer everybody away from the boards and get them away from the bench.
You know, in mentioning our marked men, we probably should have thought there'd be some attention on Higgins. He was the man who had the collision, inadvertent as it might have been, with Charlie Huddy, and Huddy's out.
No, he sure is. Charlie Huddy had a number of quarts of blood drained from a bleeding thigh that was really a Charlie horse that turned into something more than that. There was just so much internal bleeding, and Charlie Huddy, in his interview that you may have seen earlier, said that he didn't know how long the cut was in his leg. Well, Glenn Sather told me it was an 8-inch incision that they had to make to actually drain a lot of the blood out of Charlie Huddy's leg. So there's no telling when Charlie Huddy will be back into the lineup here with the Oilers, but they're pretty deep back there. They've got Weimer in the lineup tonight, and Marty McSorley's suspension is finished, so they moved Jeff Bukaboom out of the lineup. But Charlie Huddy has been playing very well for this team. Kind of in an unsung way, but he's picked up points too.
You may recall, those of you who were watching the game 2 nights ago, that there was a camera shot of Huddy lying on his back on the training table with his leg up. You won't see any shot similar to that again in the Edmonton training room, as this is a time when you do not want to give away the nature of injuries. The Oilers were not at all pleased with that. Puck tipped right back deep, and so the Oilers must go back to get it. 3:12 to go in the second period. In case you're just joining us, it was 1-1 at the end of one. Simpson and Oates. Curry and Anderson struck under 4 minutes of the second, and Probert answered. Oh, and a good save made there by Glenn Hanlon. Turning with this is Shabbat. Nudged it, but by Higgins. Rolled along by Weimer, but punched further by DeLorme. Weimer will try again, gets another Red Wing, and that's Shabbat. Shabbat's pass skips on over to Mel Bridgman. Starts in, shaking through Higgins, his teammate, but it's gotten by Smith. Back along for McTavish. And Craig McTavish just throws in, so his team can execute a shift change. Courtnall moves in, along with McTavish, as the Red Wings play it back. Lowe trying to jam it away from the persistent checking of Shabbat. Turns it along to McTavish. Courtnall accelerates to the front. McTavish pulling off. Peeling the net. Backhander ricocheted wide. Over to get it is Shabbat. Shabbat for the Red Wings in the final 2:20. Gives it away to Courtnall. Shabbat is able to regather. Starts ahead with Bridgman. Tripped up on the play. As stepping into him was Craig Muni. Shift change on for Detroit. Two teams substitute on the fly here. Puck sent right back along to Veach. Hands over to Norwood, and on the turning stick of Ashton it comes. Then to Oates. Flips for Barr. Barr trying to punch it further. Kevin Lowe on defense goes down as it's railed back along by Muni and back down for an icing touch-up. One of the rare stoppages for an icing in the game. Puck across the center and the end red lines and touched by a member of the defending team. You know, earlier in the game, Bill was mentioning the fact that Edmonton had a working agreement with Nova Scotia in the American League, and we'll follow through on that thought in a moment. 7 even, 7 on the power play. Interesting breakdown. That in the series. Nova Scotia failed to go far in the playoffs. But just to bring you up to date, yeah, it is scorching in here, isn't it? Now, outside today, it wasn't really that hot. But a non-air conditioned arena and about 19,873 bodies, and it can get quite close. We're lucky we have a fan here. Electric. From the face-off, punched wide by Ashton and held by Grant Fuhr for the stoppage of play. I just wanted to finish on the thought. The Hershey Bears tonight are playing against Fredericton's Express in Hershey, and they're trying to accomplish something that's never been done in the American Hockey League, winning 10 straight games in the playoffs. We'll mention the names of the coaches. B.J. McDonald, one of Gretzky's line mates, is coaching the Fredericton Express, and John Paddock, a one-time flyer in Quebec Nordique, who I believe played for Jacques Demers at one time, is coaching Hershey. A 2-on-1 for Edmonton. Messier across for Krushelnyski, and the pass off the mark. Kept in by Anderson. Barr locks up with Anderson. Krushelnyski able to react to keep play moving. It was just on the blue line, thus not out. Krushelnyski keeps it moving, but it is Hanlon to just send it right back in the same direction. Ahead with this, now comes Barr. Slides it over to Brent Ashton. 1:05 to go in the second period of a 3-2 Edmonton advantage. Norwood can't penetrate deep. Norwood continues to persist. It's dropped back nicely by Anderson along to Messier, and Glenn Anderson will skate it down. They have McSorley up on the wing right now as Ashton rams into Anderson. Play controlled, though, by the Red Wings, and Dave Barr brings it on Kevin Lowe. Feathers a pass through for a backhander by Gallant that trickled off Muni and is held by Fuhr for a stoppage of play.
Well, Brent Ashton has been quiet as far as the scoreboard is concerned tonight, but his line has been out there plugging away. Here's a look at Darren Beach, who's just finished his shift. Here's a look at Brent Ashton, though. He hasn't been on a scoreboard, but watch this where he goes after Glenn Anderson right here. Keep watching. Woo. Little backhand pitchfork action that just missed Glenn Anderson.
Played for several teams and has all of a sudden flowered. Started to really pick up his scoring when he was with Quebec, and then has come here and really been sound. 39 seconds to go, second period. You see the score in the game. Mike Krushelnyski will be in for an important faceoff opposite Steve Yzerman. To our recollection, he's seen a little more action tonight than he had at the same stage in Game 3. Yzerman coming back from being sidelined 2 months and 2 weeks by a knee injury. Encroachment on the faceoff circle, and now Kevin Lowe directed back, and Gallant comes over to have a word with Frazier, but will resume play. Probert, Yzerman, and Gallant out for Detroit. In back, O'Connell and Zombo. Krushelnyski on the battle, got it to Probert, couldn't get it teed up. Gallant with a shot, turned aside by Fuhr. Along to get it is Curry, hit hard by Gallant, but not until he'd released it to Kevin Lowe. Lowe with a little pass that is brought back up by Krushelnyski, has Gretzky on the left, works the right, though, over to Jari Kurri. Kurri controlling nicely, hands to Lowe, flips one, directed right on goal, and a save made by Hanlon. Good direction by Krushelnyski. On with this is Zombo, gave it up to Muni. Mike O'Connell has to follow up for Detroit in the final 7 seconds of the period, but two of the Red Wings are still deep in the zone, so this is a play that will just simply be the last of the period. 1 second on the clock as finally the whistle blown, as Gallant had been tied up with one of the Oilers in deep. And Kerry Frazier may take a couple off here.
I think Gallant was with Gretzky. I don't know what Kevin Collins, he didn't have much of a choice. He was over by the boards. He was trying to watch the lines and trying to watch where the puck was, but at the same time he had Bobby Probert pinning one of the Oilers against the boards. He was trying to split his focus back and forth. Here's a look at Glenn Hanlon's last save. That was Kevin Lowe that just dumps it in towards the net. And a good deflection right in front, but you could see that Hanlon went down once Krushelnyski had deflected it. He has been on top of his game. The Red Wings, to me, right now, are sitting not in a bad position at all. We've talked a lot in the series about how the Oilers really are a better defensive team than a lot of people give them credit for. They're one of the top third, the best defensive teams in the league. And the third period will be a real test of just how good they are in this building. It'll be rocking in the third, especially if the Red Wings end up with a power play. That's something that the Oilers have to avoid in the third period, taking penalties.
Marty McSorley has moved up on a wing. Keith Acton to take what will be a ceremonial face-off with Oates, and that's it. The horn sounds. McSorley started to shake his way over to the Detroit bench. Kerry Frazier there to have a word with him. And the second period has come to a close. Tightly contested game. Simpson and Oates scored in the first for their teams. Curry and Anderson staked the Oilers to a 3-1 lead, but Bob Probert closed it to just one.
I heard you got one, Fred. I just had to come over and take a look.
Yeah, wanted one all my life. Great. Look at the way it's put together. No wonder they last.
Mind if I just, sit behind the wheel? Oh, boy, would I like one of these. Can I take it for a spin?
Well, just in the front yard.
Oh, boy.
Nothing runs like a deer.